Welcome to Top Shops. The crew and I are in Radnor, Ohio, visiting with Matt King, who farms with his stepfather, Jim Rodman. This farm team devised a first-rate shop that incorporates a number of unique design components. Let's go talk to Matt about We Feed You Farm Shop. Matt, thank you for letting us come out. You guys are in the middle of just getting done cutting wheat. You've got other crops going on, and you're a crop adjuster too as well. You guys are always moving, so I appreciate you taking time and letting us come out to see this great shop. You studied kind of what you wanted in shops for a few years before you put this up. What did you settle on the size of structure?
We ended up, after looking at a number of facilities, we decided on 80 by 136 for our final design.
Yeah. And then the sidewalls are 18?
Yes, we went with the 18-foot sidewall ceiling.
And that was clearance to get equipment in and out?
Essentially, it was clearance to get equipment in and out, but one of the things we liked about the 18-foot is actually if we wanted to unfold the combine bins inside, so if you wanted to work on something inside, you could do that.
Jim, your stepfather and you went out and looked at other shops prior to putting this thing up to kind of figure out what you needed?
Yeah, we did. We toured some local farmers in the area that already built shops, and we also went out a little distance. We did that because we weren't set on a final design when we put it together, so we wanted to see what other people had done and see what other people liked and didn't like before we finally settled on a product.
Was that worth the time?
Oh, it was absolutely worth the time, because we would stop in at people's facilities and immediately say, oh, I love this, or immediately say, you know, this isn't quite for us. And right. It was one of the best ways for our creative juices to get flowing and know how to come up with a bigger plan.
Now, typically, I wait and ask this question at the end, but I'll just hit you with it right up front. After all that study and now you've got this structure, what would you do different?
I think the biggest thing, well, I mean, obviously bigger, right? Everybody says bigger. We probably could go bigger. But no, the number one answer, right? You can never build things big enough.
Right.
But actually, the number one thing we would like to do different is across the top of the building, we have the paneling, the metal sheeting, right. And we would have preferred to put some perforated in, either all of it or a little bit of it to dampen the echo. It can get quite echoey in here when it's pretty empty.
Hey, this is a first. Jim and Matt employed a product called FiberTech to cover the bottom of their shop. This wall board is otherwise used in refrigerated trucks and is noted for its durability and ease of cleaning.
Yeah, so what we decided was we went into a lot of shops that had, you know, the plywood up or some of them had the sheeting all the way down, right. and so forth. But what we had actually decided on is we used a fiberglass paneling product. They line inside of semi-trucks with it, or you'll see it on a hog barn, right. On the back wall of a hog barn. And what it allowed us to do is it's completely waterproof, so we could, you know, if you get water up on it, spray it. But another feature we loved about it is we use it as a whiteboard. I mean, you can write on it, you can, you know, just with dry erase markers, and then you can buy and wipe it back off. So we use it as a multi-function surface, and it also stays cleaner than you know, just your typical painted plywood, so it's an easier to clean product.
You mentioned about the sidewall and you write things on it. It's more than the oil changes. You even have kind of the quote board over here on the side of the shop.
Yeah, it kind of started, I don't know, one of these days, one of us grabbed a dry erase marker and we wrote some quotes on the wall, and then it's kind of grown from there. And so, yeah, it serves a lot of purposes, and now we've got this, we'll call it the motivational wall, where, you know, we've got a lot of quotes of neighbors, friends, and people. So
another aspect I noticed was your floor treatment. This is just not plain concrete. Well, it is just plain concrete, but it has a color to it.
Yeah, so one of the things when we toured other people's shop, we asked about painting the floor versus a straight concrete floor.
Epoxy.
Right.
As opposed to, right.
Exactly, and one of the things we heard was a lot of guys, you know, you drop a big hammer, it chips the floor, and then the color's out of it and all this. So we went a different direction. We actually put the dye right in the concrete. Oh. So when we poured it, the whole concrete slab itself is all this maroon or red color. And so whether if you chip it or anything like that, you still have the color throughout.
And then Jim was saying too, this doesn't have rebar in it, the concrete.
No, we did not put any rebar in it. What we did was we put the fiber in it.
Right.
Should last longer, less likely to crack and expand, especially with the heat changes and the, you know, humidity. It should not crack as easily with the fiber in it.
Here's another first for me. In quite literally the hundreds of shops that I've toured, Jim and Matt opted for on-demand boilers to feed their floor heat. These eliminated a central boiler and made zone heating their shop much easier. In addition, they used Create-A-Heat insulated foam panels in the insulation of their floor heat, which makes their heating system much more efficient.
With the on-demand heaters, you know, they only run when they need to,
Right.
and different parts. And the other reason we put it into zones, we actually put the facility into 3 zones, 3 different heating systems. The front of the place, we always keep in the winter a warmer temperature because we have offices and living room space, and plus the tool rooms up in the front. So we'll keep that up, you know, at a 10-degree higher temp. Then in the back facility, we can actually control them independently, or we can control them separately. And so what we could actually do is only heat part of the shop to a certain temperature. It just gives us some flexibility.
And they sit, those on-demand boilers, because they're much smaller, they sit right in the zone that they're heating in. They're right on the wall back here. And then they just take care of that area. Everything's out in the open. You didn't have to put them in a closet or anything like that.
No, everything's right out in the open. The heaters themselves sit on the walls, so if you need to do any maintenance or anything, it's right there. You can just walk up, you can punch them or set the settings or change the thermostat. They're all right there.
Jim and Matt opted to place the door on their end wall offset. This created a handy staging area for their machinery prior to, say, like the planting or harvest season.
So a lot of guys do center up their, you know, their doors in the barn, but on ours we didn't center the back door. One of the reasons why is we actually pushed it to one side versus centering it, so that then the side that is kind of we'll call it the wide side. Right. During the winter months, we can back equipment in there. We back planters, sprayers, things like that you're worried about freezing. We can keep them in the heated shop. And then you still can get in and out that door because nothing's actually parked in front of the door. So it gives you a storage space by pushing that door to the side.
Matt, you have you have 2 full-time jobs. You farm with Jim, but then also you're a crop adjuster for Pro Ag.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting around all over the countryside. So that's your other full-time job. That's why the office complex you have up front is so important to you. You spent a lot of time thinking about that, didn't you?
So I needed a space where I could office out of and have a facility. And I have people come in for training. I have people that actually stop by and work. So I built an office that was very large, had an extra space, an extra workspace for other people, as well as we built like we'll call it a meeting common room area for just that purpose, you know, hosting.
Right. And then coming off the shop, it goes into another, not another area, because you've kept this area as open as possible, but you have a tool room, which then opens up to the main shop.
Yeah, so what we did when we designed it is we tucked the tool room and the offices area up underneath the loft.
Right.
That way kept the shop floor as big as possible. Didn't eat up any shop floor space. But the tool room, you know, it's kind of tucked under the loft. But we designed that so that, you know, like it's right next to one of our main doors. So you can pull in there with a pickup, or you can pull in there with something. You can work right there's the workbench, right there's the tools right by the main door you pull in. So you don't have to walk 100 feet across the building to get something.
One of the best features I appreciate the most about the We Feed You Farm Shop is its position in the farmstead. Jim and Matt located their shop in the farmstead for easy access. And this is crucial if you're planning a shop for the future. Well, I'll see you again next week on another Top Shops tour. Hi, I'm Dave Mowitz. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit subscribe right here if you haven't already, and click that little bell right here to be notified when we post a new video. And click here to see more great videos.